Why are we asking this question about what should students learn in the 21st century? It's a question that hasn't been revisited in a very long time, perhaps 100 years or so. Of course, there have been all sorts of tweaks, but a profound revisiting of the question hasn't taken place. There are plenty of people and organizations out there worrying about the how of education, how to improve the quality of teaching and learning and all of that. And that's absolutely incredibly laudable. But it has been very little in terms of what should be a common base of knowledge and understanding on a global basis. And that's what the Center for Curriculum Redesign is focused on, trying to come up with this common fabric of joint knowledge, skills, character, and this meta layer of learning how to learn, interdisciplinarity, all of those issues, all of these dimensions coming together into the answer to that question.
How quickly will things change? Technology can, eradicate jobs much faster than most of us can learn a new position. So if the world is changing so fast, how do we educate for that? Well, I think the answer is you need foundational skills to be able to retool. You can't do effective adult learning unless you've already mastered the skills that you need for reading and writing, analytics, communication. And so it actually just, the fact that things may change so quickly makes it more important to do, in fact, what we were already doing, but doing it better. In other words, equipping people such that they can be effective not only at the things they learn in school, but effective at learning new skills. How we retool as adults will change. Hopefully we'll get better at distance learning. Hopefully we'll get better at just-in-time skills acquisition. But to be effective at that, we'll all have to be really well educated in the basics so that we can master those skills.
The essence of progress in a society really comes down to a couple of things. You have the tools you need to make progress, and you have the people who know how to utilize those new tools to do the spectacular. The truth of the matter is, to develop the new tools, you need the basics. You need math, science, engineering, all of the underlying chemistry, biology, physics, you name it. Again, just to develop new tools, new capabilities. However, you also need users of those new tools and capabilities, such as folks with industrial expertise who can apply the new things that come along. It's a virtuous cycle, but at the end of the day, it involves a tremendous amount, frankly, of educational investment to get it done.
There's a question of when, and there's a question of what. And there's also this notion of, it implies a universality. So in other words, everybody should learn the same thing. And the way I tend to think about it, it's more like this idea of the long tail. So that they'll need to be customized in curriculum, so that you might need to learn something very different than somebody else, and that it's going to have to be adaptive given your needs and your sort of life and where you go in the future, rather than just assuming, okay, everybody goes to college, everybody majors in business or engineering or technology or whatever, and we're good to go. It's not about survival of the fittest, it's about the ability to adapt. And I think for individuals and employers and for companies and for countries to succeed in the future, it's largely going to be about the ability to adapt and to have people adapt. And that's going to be a function of not what they learn, but how they learn and when they learn it.
Throughout my career, I've not been an economist. I started at the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and I still have all of that kind of background. But for me, at the age that I am, having gone through this many years before, I'd go out and I'd say, yeah, but I know how to do that. I had the, and they would went, no, you didn't. It's like the resume doesn't say that. I don't think that's going to be the same problem that people are going to face in the future. I think you'll be able to take all those things you did with the blog, all those things that you did that aren't on your resume that you completely forgot about, and they'll all be part of something that someone will be able to look at and value and say, okay, that's fine. You get to, I can see that you know how to do that.
The more that educators and local officials and the more that communities understand what's going on in the world of work and the kind of needs that companies have, the more likely it is that they'll be producing work-ready students. In that context, I think we need to pay special attention to the education of young girls, or of girls and young women generally. And the reason for that is not that in the United States girls are lagging behind educationally. In fact, I think young women enroll and graduate from higher education probably in equal or higher numbers even than boys. But where girls do lag behind is in STEM subjects, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And that's where, of course, the need and the emphasis is going to be in the future. And so motivating young women to have a STEM education, and once they have it, motivating them to stay in those subjects, I think is very critical to our competitiveness as a society, to the whole issue of gender equality, and to the whole issue of using human resources available to companies in the optimal way.